I died choking on my own blood, the metallic tang flooding my mouth as the SUV's headlights bore down like twin suns from hell, my sister's screams echoing in my ears. Harmony. Oh God, Harmony. But it was her fault. All of it. Her lies that pinned me to that rain-slicked Jersey turnpike. Her betrayal that turned family into a funeral pyre. And then, nothing. Blackness, the kind that swallows souls whole. Until I gasped awake in my old Brooklyn apartment. The alarm clock blaring 6:47 a.m. on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. My hands trembling over sheets that smelled like lavender detergent from a life I thought I'd buried 6 feet under. My heart hammered like a jackrabbit on meth as I bolted upright, staring at the faded poster of the Brooklyn Bridge on the wall, the one I'd tacked up in college when dreams still felt possible. This wasn't the sterile hospital room where I'd flatlined, tubes snaking from my arms like accusations. No, this was my shitty one-bedroom from 3 years ago, rent-controlled and cluttered with case files from my days as a junior prosecutor in the DA's office. I glanced down, my nails, bitten to the quick in my last life, now manicured in that cheap coral polish I'd worn before everything went to shit. My reflection in the vanity mirror across the room. 28, not 31, eyes wide with the terror of a ghost who forgot to stay dead. Holy fuck, I whispered, my voice cracking like dry leaves. I'd read about this in those trashy reincarnation novels my mom hoarded, but this was no divine mulligan. This was a second shot, loaded and aimed at the hearts I'd trusted most. My sister, Lila, perfect Lila, with her Pilates-toned abs and her real estate empire built on daddy's connections, had orchestrated it all. She'd leaked my testimony on that corruption case, the one that could have toppled half the city council, straight to the mobbed-up developers her husband, Victor, schmoozed with at those Hamptons fundraisers. Victor Hale, the golden boy attorney who'd charmed his way into our family like a fox into a henhouse. They'd framed me as the whistleblower gone rogue, painted me as unstable, and when the threats rolled in, phone calls at midnight, slashed tires on my Prius, they'd convinced me to take a break, to drive out to that cabin in the Poconos for family time. Except the drive never happened. Lila's call, her voice syrupy with fake concern. Harmony, we need to talk. Meet me on the turnpike exit. Victor's stuck in traffic. And boom. SUV. Scream. End. But not anymore. I swung my legs off the bed, feet hitting the cool hardwood, and grabbed my phone. The date glared back, November 24th, 2020. 3 years rewind. The corruption case was still heating up, my evidence locked in a safe deposit box under a fake name. Lila's wedding to Victor was 6 months away, that lavish affair at the plaza they'd Instagrammed to death in my first timeline. And Thanksgiving? They hadn't invited me yet. Hell, in this loop, they probably wouldn't. Last time, I'd shown up unannounced, desperate for scraps of normalcy, only to find the table set for the real family, Victor's hand possessive on Lila's thigh under the damask cloth. But this time, I'd make them beg. I showered fast, the hot water scalding away the phantom ache in my ribs from the crash, and dressed in my power armor. Black pencil skirt, crisp white blouse, the blazer with shoulder pads that screamed, "Don't fuck with me." By 8 a.m., I was in the subway, the rattle of the F train syncing with the rage bubbling in my veins. The DA's office loomed on Center Street, all glass and granite, a monument to justice that had chewed me up and spat me out. My boss, Elena Vasquez, looked up from her desk as I strode in, her eyebrows arching like she'd seen a ghost, which, fair. Harmony? You're early. Thought you were prepping that deposition from home. Elena's voice was gravelly from too many cigarettes and late nights, but her eyes were sharp, the kind that spotted a plea deal crumbling from across the room. I forced a smile, the one I'd practiced in the mirror to hide the storm. Change of plans. I dug up something on the Hale file. Victor Hale's connections to those waterfront developers. We need to loop in the feds before it blows up. Elena's pen froze mid-scribble. Victor was untouchable back then, his firm representing half the elite scum in Manhattan. But I knew better now. I'd seen the emails in my dying haze, the ones Lila had forwarded from his account. Handle the sister. Quietly. I'd been collateral, a loose end in their empire of kickbacks and zoning scams. Jesus, kid, Elena muttered, leaning back. You sure? Hill's got friends in high places, senators, even. I met her gaze, steel for steel. That's why we hit them first, before they hit us. The morning blurred into a frenzy of subpoenas and frantic calls to the U.S. Attorney's Office. By noon, my desk was a war zone of printouts, redacted docs spilling like blood from a fresh wound. I texted Lila, casual, like nothing had cracked open inside me. "Hey sis, you still on for Thanksgiving? Miss you guys." Her reply pinged back in seconds. "OMG yes. Victor's cooking his famous turkey. Come early, bring wine. Red Heart lies, all of it. In the last life, she'd ghosted me until I crashed the party, then whispered to Mom that I was going through something. But I played along, because revenge isn't a sprint, it's a slow bleed. That afternoon, I slipped out to the bank, retrieved the drive from the safe deposit box, the one with Victor's offshore accounts, Lila's forged signatures on shell company deeds. Evidence I'd buried too deep last time, too scared of the family fallout. Not anymore. I uploaded copies to a burner cloud, encrypted tighter than Fort Knox, and emailed an anonymous tip to the Times investigative desk. Follow the money from Hale Properties to the mayor's slush fund. Attach teaser docs. Send. By evening, the office hummed with leaks, reporters circling like sharks, Elena barking orders to lock down the case. I clocked out at 7, the city lights smearing into neon veins as I walked to my apartment. My phone buzzed. Victor. Unknown number in the last life, but I knew it now. "Harmony, it's Vic. Heard you're stirring pots at the office. Let's talk. Dinner? Lila misses you." I stared at the screen, thumb hovering. The hook was set. "Sure. Your office, 8 p.m.? His reply, "Perfect. See you soon." The Hale and Associates building squatted on Park Avenue like a smug toad, all marble lobby and security goons in ill-fitting suits. I breezed past them at 7:55, heels clicking like countdowns, and took the elevator to the 42nd floor. Victor's corner office was a shrine to excess. Mahogany desk the size of a small car, walls lined with signed baseballs from Yankees greats, a bar cart stocked with single malt scotches that cost more than my rent. He stood as I entered, all 6'2" of him in a bespoke Tom Ford suit, that wolfish grin splitting his face like he owned the air I breathed. "Harmony. God, it's been too long." He crossed the room in 3 strides, pulling me into a hug that lingered just south of appropriate, his cologne, sandalwood, and entitlement, choking me like smoke from a backfire. I stiffened, then patted his back like we were still the in-laws who shared awkward toasts at barbecues. "Victor, thanks for the invite. Lila okay?" She sounded, off in her texts. He released me, gesturing to the leather club chairs by the window, the city sprawling below like a conquered kingdom. "She's golden. Stressed with the wedding planning. You know how she gets. But you, prosecutor life treating you right? Elena's got you on that waterfront mess, huh?" I sank into the chair, crossing my legs, watching his eyes flick to my hemline before snapping back. "Pig. It's juicy. Developers cutting corners, politicians looking the other way. Ever run across it in your deals?" His laugh was a bark, too loud for the room. "Me? Nah, I stick to clean real estate. But hey, if you need an inside track." He poured 2 glasses of scotch, handing me one. Neat. The way he remembered from that one firm party where I'd gotten tipsy and confessed my imposter syndrome. I sipped, the burn steadying my pulse. "Actually, that's why I'm here. Off the record, there's chatter about Hale Properties being involved. Subtly, of course. You hear anything?" Victor's fingers tightened on his glass, just a fraction, but I caught it. The tell from 100 depositions. Gossip from jealous rivals. You know how it is, Harm. Everyone wants a piece of the pie. He leaned forward, elbows on knees, voice dropping to that conspiratorial timbre he used on juries. "Look, your family. Lila adores you. If you're in over your head, say the word. I can pull strings, get you reassigned." There it was, the velvet glove over the iron fist. Last time, I'd crumbled, let him help, by feeding me half-truths that isolated me further. This time, I smiled, slow and sharp. "Family, huh? That's sweet. Speaking of Thanksgiving, Lila invited me, but last year you guys kinda forgot. Rough patch for me." His brow furrowed, feigned concern etching lines that hadn't deepened yet in this timeline. "Forgot? No way. Must have been a mix-up. You're coming, right? Whole spread, Mom's pies, Dad's stories. It'll be perfect." I nodded, swirling the scotch, the amber catching the lamplight like liquid fire. "Wouldn't miss it. But Victor, If there's anything I should know about the family business? Before I dig too deep at work. He hesitated, then chuckled, standing to refill our glasses. You're too smart for your own good, Harmony. That's always been your problem. The words hung, laced with the subtext I'd missed before, too smart to stay out of it. As he turned back, glass in hand, I saw the flicker in his eyes, the calculation, the man who'd greenlit my hit without blinking. We talked for another hour, surface bullshit about wedding colors and holiday plans, but underneath, it was a fencing match, thrusts and parries over veiled threats. By the time I left at 9, the rain had started, pattering against the limo he insisted on calling for me. In the back seat, I pulled up the burner app. The Times tip had landed. A junior reporter had already emailed back. Who is this? More docs? I forwarded the full drive, anonymous as a shadow. Back in Brooklyn, I poured a real drink, cheap vodka from the freezer, and scrolled through old photos on my phone. Lila and me at Coney Island, cotton candy stuck in our hair, Victor photobombing with that grin even then, like he'd always been the third wheel that derailed us. The rage settled into something colder, sharper, resolve. Thanksgiving was 4 days away. By then, the story would break. Victor's name splashed across headlines like sewage. And when they called, frantic, pleading, Harmony, help us, I'd walk into that dinner not as the broken sister, but as the executioner. But sleep didn't come easy that night. Dreams twisted to crash. Lila's face through the windshield, not horrified but smirking. Victor at the wheel of the SUV, his hands clean as he accelerated. I woke sweating at 3 a.m., the apartment silent except for the distant wail of sirens. This second chance wasn't a gift, it was a loaded gun, and pulling the trigger meant firing on blood. But they'd fired first. And in America, justice wasn't blind. It was bought, sold, and buried, until someone dug it up. The next morning, Wednesday, the office was electric. Elena hauled me into her office, doors slamming like a gavel. What the hell did you do, Harmony? Her face was thunder, but her eyes sparkled. Vindication, the thrill of a win. I played dumb, shrugging as I sipped bad coffee. Me? Just following leads. Bullshit. The feds are raiding Hale Properties at dawn tomorrow. Your name's not on it, but that anonymous drop? It's got your fingerprints all over. Those account numbers match your prelim report to the letter. My stomach flipped, but I kept my face neutral. Good. Means we're onto something. She studied me, then nodded, a rare grin cracking her facade. You're playing with fire, kid. But damn if it isn't pretty. She slid a file across the desk. Victor's, unredacted. Read this. Then burn it. And Harmony? Watch your back. These assholes don't go down quiet. I took the file, heart pounding as I scanned the pages in the elevator down. Wire transfers to offshore shells. Emails from Lila's personal account signing off on contingencies. Contingencies. That's what they called murder in boardrooms. By lunch, I was at a payphone in Midtown, old school, untraceable, calling Lila. Sis, emergency. Meet me at the apartment tonight. Something's wrong at work. Her voice, breathy with yoga calm. Oh no, Harm. Of course. Victor's tied up, but I'll be there. Why? Bring the good stuff, I said, hanging up before she could probe. The trap was closing, jaws lined with the teeth of truth. Evening fell like a curtain, the city exhaling into rush hour chaos. I prepped the apartment. Photos of the crash site printed from public records, the coroner's report I'd bribed a clerk for in my first life, laid out on the coffee table like a crime scene diorama. The doorbell buzzed at 7 sharp. Lila, in cashmere and Louboutins, 2 bottles of Napa Cab in a canvas tote, her blonde bob swinging as she air-kissed my cheeks. Harmony, you look wrecked. What's going on? She breezed in, setting the wine down, eyes darting to the mess on the table, then freezing. What the fuck is this? I shut the door softly, locking it with a click that echoed like a chambered round. This, Lila, this is the end of the line. Sit down. We've got a lot to unpack before Thanksgiving. Her face drained of color, that perfect porcelain cracking as she sank onto the couch, clutching her purse like a shield. Harm, you're scaring me. Is this about the case? Victor said. Victor says a lot of things. I sat across from her, legs crossed, voice steady as a surgeon's scalpel. Like how to make a whistleblower disappear. Like how to stage a hit on the turnpike and cry crocodile tears at the funeral. She laughed, high and brittle, the sound of glass about to shatter. You're delusional. That accident. God, Harmony, you were drunk, swerving. I slid the coroner's report across. Blood alcohol 0.00. Her eyes widened, pupils dilating like ink in water. Lila, I died. You killed me. Not with your hands, but with your choices. The leaks, the setups, Victor's friends in low places. I remember it all. And now, I'm back. To even the score. The room went tomb silent, save for her ragged breathing. Outside, horns blared, the city indifferent to our unraveling. This was the first strike. Confront the betrayer, watch the empire tremble. But Victor was next, and Thanksgiving would be the feast where we'd carve him open. She bolted at dawn, leaving the wine unopened and the photos scattered like confetti from a nightmare wedding. I watched from the window as her cab peeled into the gray morning, taillights fading into the scrum of delivery trucks and joggers. No calls, no texts, just radio silence, the kind that screams guilt louder than any confession. By 9, my phone lit up with Elena. Raids went clean. Hales in cuffs, screaming about entrapment. You see the headlines. I hadn't, but I could imagine. Real estate mogul Victor Hale nabbed in massive corruption sting. The Times had run with my tip, front page glory with pixelated shots of feds and windbreakers swarming his Park Avenue lair. Good. Let him sweat in a holding cell. Ty Askew, charm stripped bare. But Lila, my sister, the one who'd shared secrets under blanket forts and stolen my clothes in high school, she'd run straight to mom and dad, spinning tales of my breakdown. That's how it played in the first timeline. Family intervention, hushed talks of rehab, while Victor lawyered up and walked free on technicalities. Not this round. I called in sick to the office, migraine, the universal female alibi, and spent the day fortifying. First, the apartment. I boxed up the evidence, taped it to a courier for Elena's safe, with a note, in case I vanish. Trust no one. Then, the digital trail. I wiped my devices, set up alerts on Victor's accounts via a shady app from a hacker buddy I'd cultivated in my last life. By noon, hits rolled in, transfers frozen, clients bailing like rats from the Titanic. Victor's empire, built on smoke and schmooze, crumbling under the weight of warrants. Thanksgiving Eve, the city thrummed with pre-holiday frenzy. Cabs clogged with last-minute shoppers, air thick with pretzel vendors, and desperation. I walked to the bodega on the corner, picked up a rotisserie chicken and a six-pack of Yingling, the kind of sad solo feast that screamed, "You're alone for a reason." But as I paid, my phone vibrated. Mom. Harmony, honey? Lila called. Said you're not well. Come home tomorrow. We need to talk. Love you. The words hit like a sucker punch, laced with that Midwestern passive aggression she'd honed after Dad's transfer to the Newark bureau. Home meaning their McMansion in Short Hills, the one with the pool house Victor had gifted them as a wedding present. Proceeds from a laundered condo flip. I'd learned too late. I typed back, see you at 2. Bringing dessert. No emojis, no warmth. Just the blade's edge. Sleep was fitful, dreams replaying the crash in slow-mo. Tires screeching, Lila's voice on speakerphone. Turn around, Harm. It's a setup. But too late, the SUV's grill filling the world. I woke to turkey smells wafting from neighbors' vents, the holiday machine grinding on without me. Dressed in armor again, jeans, boots, a wool coat that hid the recorder clipped to my bra. I drove the rental, no Prius this time. Lessons learned, out of the city, the turnpike unspooling like a scar under overcast skies. Short Hills glittered with forced festivity, inflatable pilgrims deflating in yards, minivans stuffed with Tupperware. Mom's driveway was a circus, Lila's BMW, Dad's ancient Cadillac, Victor's Porsche conspicuously absent, impounded with the rest of his toys. I parked at the curb, pie carrier in hand, store-bought pecan, because fuck performative baking, and rang the bell. Mom answered, her apron dusted with flour, eyes red-rimmed, but makeup intact. Harmony. Oh, sweetie. She pulled me into a hug, all Chanel No. 5 and bone china fragility, but I felt the tremor in her arms, the fracture lines of doubt. Dad here? Lila. I stepped inside, the foyer a shrine to family photos. Us kids in Easter bonnets. Victor's arms slung around Lila at the altar. Lies, every frame. In the den. Your father's. Upset. She led me through the house, past the kitchen where the turkey sizzled unattended, to the wood-paneled den where Dad nursed a scotch and Lila perched on the ottoman, legs tucked under her like a schoolgirl caught cheating. Dad looked up, his face a roadmap of FBI retirement, jowls sagging, eyes weary. "Sit down, Harmony. We've got a situation." Lila's gaze flicked to me, venomous and pleading in equal measure. "Harm, please. Whatever you think." "I think." I cut in, setting the pie on the side table with deliberate calm. "That Victor's a crook, and you knew. That the accident 3 years from now? Not an accident at all." I pulled out my phone, hit play on the recording from last night. The courier's receipt, time-stamped, proving I'd shipped the evidence before she ran. Mom gasped, hand to her throat. "What is this?" "Harmony. The news. Victor's arrested? For what?" "Corruption. Embezzlement. And attempted murder, if the feds connect the dots." I locked eyes with Lila, who shrank back, mascara smudging like war paint. "Tell them, sis. Tell them how you forwarded my case files to his associates. How you planned the hit to shut me up." Dad's glass hit the table with a thunk. "Enough. This is family, not some courtroom drama." "Lila, is this true?" She dissolved then, sobs racking her frame. The performance I'd seen at my funeral, grief so raw it fooled the eulogist. "Daddy, I didn't. Harmony's paranoid. She's always been jealous. My job. Victor, everything. The crash? She was drinking, speeding." "Liar." The word sliced the air, and I tossed the coroner's printout onto her lap. "Zero alcohol. Witness statements from the pile-up. Black SUV, no plates, driver fled. Ring any bells?" Mom collapsed into an armchair, whispering, "Oh God," like a mantra. Dad stood, looming over Lila, his voice a low rumble. "Victoria Lillian, look at me. Did you hurt your sister?" Lila's head snapped up, tears carving tracks through her foundation. "No, I love her. But she leaked the files first, tried to frame Victor out of spite. He was protecting us, the family business." "Business?" Dad's laugh was bitter, hollow. "You mean the kickbacks? The shells I turned a blind eye to because you begged me to?" He turned to me, eyes searching. "Harmony, why didn't you say something sooner?" "Because I trusted you all," I wanted to scream. "Because blood's thicker than indictments, until it's spilled on asphalt." Instead, I shrugged. "Timing. But now, it's out. Victor's done. And if you want to help, Dad, pull those old contacts at the bureau. Get the SUV traced." The room hung in suspended animation, the turkey timer beeping distantly like a bomb countdown. Lila lunged then, grabbing my arm, nails digging crescents. "You bitch. This ruins everything. The wedding, the house, Mom's dreams. For what? Your stupid moral high ground." I wrenched free, the sting fueling the fire. "Moral? You murdered me, Lila. In cold calculation, for a penthouse view and his lies. High ground's all I've got left." Mom intervened, pulling Lila back, her voice breaking. "Stop. Both of you. This is Thanksgiving. We eat. We pray. We fix this. Fix this. The American dream in microcosm. Stuff the turkey. Ignore the rot." We migrated to the dining room in zombie procession, the table groaning under crystal and candied yams, Dad carving the bird with hands that shook. Grace was murmured, a plea for forgiveness none deserved. I ate mechanically, the food ash on my tongue, while Lila stabbed at her plate, eyes promising hell. Then, the doorbell, a jangle that cut through the clink of silverware. Mom rose, puzzled. "Who?" Footsteps echoed, and Victor strode in, rumpled suit and 5 o'clock shadow, bail already posted by some shadowy donor. "Surprise. Couldn't let you birds stuff yourselves without me." The table froze. Dad half stood, fork dangling. "Victor? You're out?" "How?" "Technicality, Pop." He clapped Dad's shoulder, then leaned down to kiss Lila's cheek, ignoring the mascara streaks. His eyes met mine across the linen, cold as steel. "Harmony, didn't expect you here. Cozy. Expect the unexpected," I replied, voice honey over razor wire. "Pass the gravy?" He sat at the head, commandeering Dad's spot like it was his birthright, and launched into damage control. Jokes about media circuses, assurances the charges were trumped-up bullshit. Mom tittered nervously, Dad grunted noncommittally, but Lila clung to his arm, a lifeline in the storm. I watched, biding time, the recorder whirring silently in my sleeve. Dessert brought the fracture. As pie was sliced, Victor's phone buzzed, ignored at first, then insistent. He glanced, face tightening. Fucking vultures. Another buzz. He excused himself to the study, door clicking shut. Lila fidgeted, whispering to Mom, but I followed, casual as a shadow. The study door was ajar, voices leaked like smoke. Victor, low and furious. "I told you. Handle it quiet. The sister's the leak. Bury her, like we planned." Pause. "Yeah, the turnpike play. Make it look drunk again." My blood iced. Proof, live and damning. I pushed the door open, phone raised, recording app glowing. "Say that again, Vic. For the jury." He whirled, phone clattering to the desk. "You little. How long have you been standing there?" "Long enough." Lila appeared behind me, gasping. The family piled in, a tableau of horror. Mom clutching her pearls, Dad's face ashen. Victor lunged, but Dad blocked him, arm like a bar across his chest. "Out. Now, or I call the cops myself." "You'd throw me to the wolves?" "For her." Victor snarled, jabbing a finger at me. "She's poisoned, Tom. Always has been. Ask Lila." Lila whimpered, torn, but her eyes darted to the window, the escape hatch. "Vic, please. We can fix." "No." I stepped forward, voice steady. "It's over. The feds have the accounts, the emails, the witness from the garage who saw you by the burner plates. And now? This." I hit stop on the recording, emailing it to Elena in real time. "Happy Thanksgiving." Chaos erupted. Victor roaring, shoving past Dad toward me. Lila screaming, grabbing his sleeve. Mom collapsing in sobs. I backed out, heart thundering, dialing 911 as sirens wailed in the distance. Neighbors, tipped off by the shouts. Cops swarmed minutes later, Victor cuffed on the Persian rug, spitting venom. "This isn't done, Harmony. Blood's blood, you'll pay." As they dragged him away, Lila turned on me, face twisted. "You destroyed us. For revenge? You're the monster." "Monsters make monsters," I shot back. "You started it." The house emptied into recriminations. Dad calling old bureau pals. Mom retreating to pills and prayer. Lila fled to a hotel, texting me at midnight. "I hate you. But, I'm sorry." Empty words, but a crack in the armor. Friday dawned brittle. Headlines screaming Hale scandal deepens. Mob ties alleged. Elena called. "You're a goddamn hero, Harmony. Lead on the case." I accepted, the promotion bitter fruit. But the twist gnawed. In the raid logs, a name surfaced. Dad's signature on a old wiretap approval, buried deep. Had he known? Covered for Victor to protect his successful son-in-law? The doubt festered as I drove back to Brooklyn, the turnpike a gauntlet I navigated white-knuckled. Home, I pored over the files, the truth uncoiling like a snake. Dad hadn't just looked away. He'd greased the wheels, a quiet favor for Lila's future. Betrayal squared, father to daughter. Saturday, I confronted him at the diner in Short Hills, the one with greasy spoons and Naugahyde booths. He slid in opposite, coffee steaming between us. "Knew you'd come. Did you know about the hit?" Blunt, no preliminaries. He stirred sugar, slow. "Suspected. Victor's hot-headed. Mentioned problems with you." I told him to back off. "But the approvals? The tips you fed him on my cases?" His eyes dropped. "Family harm. You were the wild card, poking nests. I thought. It'd keep you safe. Distant. Safe." The word curdled. "It got me killed, Dad. And you let it." He reached across, hand weathered. "Forgive me." I pulled back, the chasm widening. "Not yet. Testify. Against him. Against yourself if you have to." He nodded, broken. "For you. Always." The case built like a storm, depositions in fluorescent hell, Victor's lawyers circling like hyenas. Lila flipped first. Plea deal for immunity. Tears on the stand as she detailed the leaks, the fear, the love twisted into complicity. "He convinced me it was business," she sobbed. "But Harmony. She was collateral." Victor's trial was a circus, summer 2021, Manhattan courtroom packed with reporters and rubberneckers. I testified last, the ghost in the gallery haunting every cross-exam. "Objection," his attorney barked as I recounted the crash from beyond the grave. "Speculation." Sustained, the judge drawled, but the jury's eyes lingered, doubt seated. Closing arguments. Me, unflinching. Victor Hale didn't just steal money, he stole lives. Mine, twice over. The verdict, guilty, 25 to life. No parole. But the twist hit post-sentencing, in the DA's victory bash at some dive in Hell's Kitchen. Elena pulled me aside, champagne flute in hand. One more thing, Harmony. That SUV? Traced to a shell under your father's name. He leased it years back for family use. My stomach dropped. Dad, not just enabler, but financier? The final betrayal, blood on his ledger too. I drove to Short Hills that night, rain lashing the windshield like accusations. He met me on the porch, face gaunt in the porch light. Knew this was coming. Explain. Voice flat, but inside, the girl who idolized him wailed. Desperation. Victor owed sharks, threatened Lila. I arranged the car, thought it'd scare you off the case, not. He trailed, tears carving paths. I saved her. Lost you. The rage crested, hot and final. You killed me, Dad. For her. I turned, leaving him in the downpour, the door slamming like a coffin lid. No forgiveness, no holiday cards. Just justice, cold and complete. Months blurred into a new normal, the kind forged in fire, sharper edges, fewer illusions. By fall 2021, I was lead prosecutor on the waterfront indictments, the Hale case a notch on my belt that opened doors to federal gigs and TEDx invites. Elena mentored me hard, her gravel voice a lifeline. Don't let the winds soften you, Harmony. Bastards like Hale? They breed. She was right. Victor's appeals dragged, funded by bitter ex-clients. Whispers of witness tampering slithering through the halls. But I was armored now, ghosts at my back pushing forward. Lila resurfaced sporadically, texts on birthdays, a hesitant coffee in a neutral Starbucks where she picked at her muffin, eyes down. Therapy helps, she'd say, voice small. I see it now, how I chose him over you. Over us. I'd nod, sip my latte, the forgiveness a locked box I wasn't ready to crack. Blood mended slow, if at all. Mom hovered in the middle, bridge building with casseroles dropped at my door, voicemails thick with apology. Your father's. Changed. Retired for good. Thinks of you every turkey season. Dad. Silence, a void I filled with casework, the rhythm of depositions drowning regret. Winter hit hard, blizzards blanketing the city in white amnesia. Christmas Eve, I worked late, the office a ghost town of twinkling strands and takeout cartons. My phone buzzed as I locked up. Unknown number. Voicemail. Victor's voice. Tinny from Rikers. Harmony. Merry fucking Christmas. You think you're done? Check your mail tomorrow. Family secrets don't die easy. Chills spidered my spine, but I deleted it, hailing a cab through the flurries. Home was solitude. Chinese delivery, a bottle of cab, Die Hard on loop for ironic cheer. But morning brought the package. No return address, postmarked from upstate. Inside, a manila envelope thick with photos. Me, post-crash, comatose in the ICU. Grainy shots of Lila and Victor in a motel, time-stamped pre-wedding. And worse, Dad shaking hands with a known enforcer, the kind with Jersey Crew tattoos. Date overlapping my investigation. Attached note, Victor's scrawl. Your old man's deeper in than you know. Want the full file? Meet me. Or it goes public. Your legacy, tainted. The trap reeked, blackmail from a cage, but potent. I paced the apartment, rage and fear tangoing. Call the feds? Risk Dad's exposure, the family implosion 2.0? Or play his game, and it face-to-face? The decision gnawed, controversial in its marrow. Protect the monster who'd birthed me, or burn it all for purity. In America, justice was selective, a luxury for the unscarred. I chose the burn. New Year's Eve. I drove to Rikers under leaden skies, the island looming like a bad omen across the East River. Visitor's room, sterile plexiglass and buzzers. Victor on the other side in orange jumpsuit, gaunt but grinning like the devil at a debutante ball. You came. His voice crackled through the speaker, smug. New blood would win. Cut the shit. What do you want? He leaned in, breath fogging the divider. Out. New trial. Your testimony recants the hit. Bullshit. Say it was paranoia, grief-fueled delusion. I laughed cold. Dream on. Those photos. Forgeries. Dad's clean, unlike your appeals fund. His grin faltered, eyes narrowing. Clean? Ask him about the 2018 wire, $500K to the crew, laundered through my shells. For your mom's treatments. Cancer don't pay itself. The room tilted. Mom's flu. That year. The endless chemo she'd hidden behind smiles. Dad's overtime at the bureau. The pieces slotted, horrific. Complicity for survival. love's dark underbelly. You're lying. But my voice wavered, and he pounced. Am I? Files with my lawyer. Drop the case, or it hits the post. FBI vet funds mob hit to save wife. Daughter's the fall girl. Poetic, huh? I gripped the receiver, knuckles white. You touch them, I bury you deeper. Touché. He chuckled. Clock's ticking, harmony. Family first, right? The drive back was a blur, snow whipping the windshield like accusations. Home. I tore through Dad's old files, stashed in my closet from the move-out purge, finding the transfer stub, coded but damning. Confirmation. The betrayal pyramid. Victor at the apex, Lila mid-tier, Dad the foundation cracked wide. I called him that night, voice steel over sobs he couldn't hear. Rikers. Victor. The money for Mom. Silence, then exhale. Yes. She was dying, harm. Experimental trial, off books. Victor connected me, but the strings. Attached. I thought I could control it. Control murder? The words broke me, tears hot. You sacrificed me. No, God, no. It was supposed to scare you. Delay the case till Mom stabilized. The SUV. Victor went rogue. I swear. Swear. The word mocked. Testify. Full truth. Or I leak it myself. He agreed, voice hollow. For you. In this. The recant never came. Victor's file was bluff, smoke without fire, photos doctored per forensics. But Dad's confession landed like fallout. Immunity for testimony. The Bureau's golden boy exposed as tarnished brass. Mom's cancer returned that spring, stage 4, but clean now. Kicked via trial funds I'd funneled anonymously, no strings. She passed in June, quiet in her sleep, Dad at bedside. Funeral was small. Me, him, Lila, thawed to fragile truce, her hand in mine as we lowered the casket. Victor's appeal hearing, July swelter, Dad on stand, voice steady. I enabled. For love. But the hit? That was Hale's sin. Jury deadlocked once, then flipped. Life. No parole. Victor's scream from the dock. You traitors. All of you. After, in the courthouse shadows, Dad and I stood, the chasm bridged by grief. Forgive, he asked, eyes pleading. Not all the way, I said, hugging him fierce. But close enough for coffee. Lila lingered, tentative. Sisters? I nodded, the word a bandage. Always were. By fall 2022, the case is wrapped, waterfront convictions stacking like dominoes, my name etched in legal lore. New apartment in Chelsea, view of the Hudson, holidays solo but chosen. Thanksgiving that year, takeout turkey, Netflix, a toast to ghosts exorcised. No invites needed, I'd built my table. But the twist lingered, a scar's itch. In Victor's final letter from Supermax, you won, but at what cost? Family's ash now. Worth it. I saw the controversy I'd ignited. Revenge's price. Isolation. The mirror reflecting a woman harder, wiser, but hollowed. Had I avenged, or just avenged myself into solitude? Yet in the quiet, scrolling news of fresh scandals, I felt the pull. Another case, another fight. Second chances weren't clean. They were remakes, director's cuts with bloodier arcs. And in America's endless drama, I was the star, script in hand, ready for Act 2.